Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Camille, Aiko. I hope that you are living the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. I hope that you have enjoyed your day. We are talking about the 10X Rule, the book by Grant Cardone. And so we are on chapter 15 tonight. Burn the place down. So as you come on, make sure you drop a 1. Let me know you're catching this live. If you're watching this on replay, drop a 2. Let me know that you are catching this on replay. And make sure you share this video, because tomorrow we are going to be doing our weekly drawing for cash prizes, gift cards, and also a health and wellness products. So, hey, Lester, what's going on? Jessica, I am good. Wilbert, hey. So, again, if you're just hopping on here, maybe you haven't been following me on my lives. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if I'm talking loud enough, because there is a lot of noise going on and just a big echo. But for those of you who have not been joining me, we have been going over the book, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. We are in chapter 15, Burn the Place Down. Y'all ever notice anything like with fires? That fires get a lot of people's attention. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, if you say that there's a fire, people want to go see the fire. Like, they want to know about the fire, what caused the fire. They're looking at the fire in awe. Or maybe it's a bonfire, right? People just like being around fires. And for some reason, it's able to grasp the attention of people. I know when I was younger, my father would always say, like, if someone attacks you, then don't yell out help, because a lot of times people get fearful and they don't want to help you, but yell out fire, because people always want to see a fire. Like, it's just something that amazes us, that mesmerizes us about a fire. And so with this chapter on tonight, Grant Cardone is talking about within our goals and everything that we do, make a fire out of it. Like, make so much noise, bring so much attention to what it is that you're doing, that people have to stop in amazement and look and say, my God, like, they have created something absolutely phenomenal. The 10X rule, before we go into the complete chapter 15, the 10X rule, you're right, it makes sense, that's true. But with the 10X rule, this is when you are applying 10 times more effort, 10 times more thought, so that you can achieve 10 times more reality of what it is that you desire. It's about helping you to set 10X goals so that you have an access of what it is that you want to come to fruition in your life. Okay, so if you follow all of the videos, then you'll really understand that a little bit better. And if you haven't been with us on the videos, then make sure you go back and catch the replays and just set some time apart to really understand what the 10X rule is and what it can do in your life. Jessica, are you a stalker? Oh, Wilbert, you are ridiculous. Okay. All right. Hey, what's going on, Tiana? Okay, so let's start with his first point. For those... And just to give you kind of a format, I read through the chapter and I just kind of take notes on things that stick out to me. Sometimes I just take notes on everything, because I want to be able to give you all everything that you need to be successful. So if you haven't already gotten the book, make sure you go and get the book, read it for yourself. I know we cover a lot of the information together, but it is going to be so beneficial for you to just read it for yourself and understand it for yourself, be able to take your own notes, be able to identify what is really important for you. Wrightsville, hey, Wrightsville, Georgia. Yeah, so as you guys, if you decide that you want to stay on and learn more about this, you want to interact with us on tonight, drop a 1 below. And if you're catching this on replay, then just drop a 2 below, just so I can know kind of when people are watching it or when they're not watching it, all right? Okay, so now, Wilbert and Jessica, behave yourselves. The first point, he says, start getting traction. To start getting traction, you must continue to add wood to the fire until you either start a brush fire or a bonfire or burn the place down. So what he's saying is that, once you start getting traction in your business. Maybe you start getting traction in that financial goal. Maybe you're starting to get traction in your spiritual goal, because this goes for any aspect of your life, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, right? Familial, whatever your goal is, it works. Okay. So maybe you start getting traction in those areas of your life. And once you start getting traction in areas of of your life, what is important is that you don't slow down, because when you slow down, then what's going to happen is that it is going to back down. Whatever success that you have achieved will suddenly not exist anymore, because you have not been adding anything to it. I mean, think about it. When you light a candle and you start burning that candle, if it goes out, then that's it, right? There's no more to it. You have to continue to add things to the candle, or you have to have a bigger candle, some more wax, right? Otherwise, it is going to do what? Burn out. And that's what you don't want to happen. See, we want to continue to put fire or wood into the fire. We don't want to have the candles that will melt away and then be non-existent anymore. And that's how some of us set up our goals, that we just have little candles burning and eventually they're going to die out because we stop giving it effort. We stop giving it attention. We stop caring about our goals, okay? We just feel like that the success we have made is going to carry us through, and that's not true. If you want to continue to have the same results, then you have to continue to put in some work. And I think one of the things that really have been reiterated to me as I am reading this chapter is that we have to stop thinking to a point that one day we are just going to stop working and everything is just going to be, we're going to relax for the rest of our lives. Like this whole notion of just complete retirement, like as long as you have breath in your body, you should be working towards your goals. You should be trying to achieve something greater and trying to achieve something better. You should want to die with absolutely nothing left. You should give everything while you have breath in your body towards helping people and towards living out your calling and living out your purpose in this life. So stop feeling like, you know what, I'm not going to do anything after I hit the age 60. Like I'm just not going to do anything. You know, it's funny when you think about the people who have retired, many of them end up getting like depressed. They don't know what to do because they're not working anymore. Like they're not doing anything. And we're not made to just do nothing. Like we were made to pour into other people. We were made to show other people love. Like we were made to use our gifts and talents to pour into others. And because that's God's gift to us. And then when we give back and we do unto others and we use those gifts and talents, that is us giving our gifts back to God, okay? And so we have to stop thinking that we're just going to do nothing. We're not supposed to just do nothing. A lot of people end up dying shortly after they retire because they end up doing nothing. That is not your purpose. That should not be your goal, just to do nothing. Some people live for Saturdays just to do nothing. Listen, there are times when you do need rest, but that should not be your ultimate goal, right? So when we're talking about adding fire, or adding, why do I keep saying that? It's adding wood to the fire. Then this is what we need to be thinking about. And I know that I probably just crushed some people's dreams, right? Because they're like, girl, what are you talking about? This is what I've been told all my life. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get good grades. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to find this good job, right? I'm going to find this good spouse. And then we're going to live this life together. And then after a certain point, we're going to retire. And then we're going to stop working. And you can shut up, because that's not what's going to happen in my life. Whatever you're talking about, me working and me working towards my goals. Like my goal is to stop working. And I'm not, see, the thing is when we are working, we have to work to the point that what we're doing is something that we love, so that we don't feel like it's work. See, some of us are out here killing ourselves calling it work. No, you're really just killing yourself. And that is the difference between someone who finds joy and continuing to be of production after a certain age, and those who are like, no, I'm just ready to stop. Why? Because you've been killing yourself all your life, working so hard that you have no free time, that you don't have any time freedom, you don't have the money that you want, you haven't spent the time with your family that you want. Like, there's just nothing in your life that you have wanted. And so now you feel like you get to a point in your life and you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to have all that. Well, surprise, surprise, because you only did average things, your success will diminish if you don't continue to do something to keep your value going. And this is what Grant Cardone is talking about in chapter 15, that you have to continue to add wood to the fire, keep the fire burning, and you have to do it in such exponential amounts so that when it is time to kind of relax and you don't have to go as hard, you won't have to worry about diminishing value. You won't have to worry about your finances diminishing, because you have built it so big and you have built it so successfully that you actually can enjoy it. Some of us, we work for retirement. We work all of these years for retirement just to go and work at McDonald's, just to go and be the greeter at Walmart, just to go and get some part-time job that you don't want to do anyway. So you have to make sure that in your goals that aligns with your purpose, that you set 10x goals so that you can have an abundance of what it is that you desire. I work for Nike now. That's awesome that you work for Nike, but is it your purpose and is it your calling? And if it is, great. If it's not, identify things within that job that is going to help you to get closer to your purpose and to your calling. Because we can work for Nike, we can work for Apple, we can work for Google. Those are all good jobs, but if it's not aligning with what God has called us to do, then what is the purpose? Just to get a paycheck? Then we are chasing money. So are we out here chasing money, or are we out here really living up what it is we are supposed to be doing? Because we can get these jobs and it's great while we get it, until our boss starts getting on our nerves and our coworkers start getting on our nerves and everybody starts getting on our nerves. So I don't mean to come off negative, but it's just the truth. And I want us all to live a life that we love, not just finding a place that's going to pay us a certain amount of money, because then we set limits on ourselves. You can be unlimited. And this is not just for that comment. This is just my thoughts, okay? And I'm just talking right now because I'm not even on the chapter. But you know, we can be working for these companies. They're absolutely killing us. They don't care about our lives for real. Majority companies, not all. There are a few that really do. And then we have nothing to show for it but struggle. Because we are still thinking and acting at an average level, okay? And when we think and we act at an average level, what will happen is that you will see that what you have acquired will diminish. So that's why some of us look at the money that we had in 2015 and it's no greater than what it is in 2018. In fact, it's probably less. We can't live based on an average life and think that it's going to sustain us or even grow us, all right? So let's keep going now. Focus back on the book for the topic of tonight. To keep stacking wood until the fire is so hot and it burns so brightly that not even competitors or market changes can put your fire out. We want to go out here and you want to make so much noise in your business, in your endeavors, whether it's acting, whether it's making movies, whether it's singing, whether it's business, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you are making so much noise that even your competitors have to be quiet. Even your competitors come and watch you burn. Even your competitors are asking about your product and your way of working, your systems, and what you have done to be so successful. This is what Grant is encouraging us to do in this chapter 15. And then he begins to talk about the law of inertia. And this is something that was put into place by Newton, right? Newton's law of inertia. An object in motion continues in motion. Keep taking action until you can't stop your forward momentum. Like, keep taking action until it just takes a life of its own, until you are bringing in customers that you didn't have any clue where they came from. And not only are you bringing in those customers, but they are bringing in the amount of money that it is that you desire in your business. Like, you keep going in and putting songs out until it just, you find that one song that blows up and it just completely takes over a life of its own, and you just don't even know where the success really came from. Well, you do because of all of your actions, but it just seems like, oh my goodness, like this thing has just taken a life of its own, because he's telling us to continue to put wood in the fire until somebody, and not only somebody, but everybody wants to stop and say, look at this person and what they're able to do. Why? Because that means that you are creating the type of success that is going to set you up for the things that you desire, but not only the things that you desire, but it is going to prepare you for the challenges to come. See, we know that most of us are not ready for the challenges to come. We want our desires to happen. We want those to happen overnight with no work. And then when challenges come in our lives, we're like, well, why God? Why me? Why can't I afford my rent? Why can't I do this? Why don't I have that? And you have to look back and look at yourself and see what actions you have done. And maybe you're not putting enough wood in the fire. Maybe you're not planning well enough. You're not preparing well enough. You're not putting enough effort in. So Grant is saying, keep going. Keep putting the effort in. Keep putting the thought in. Keep planning until it takes a life of its own, until people have to notice what it is that you're doing. And now this isn't take notice so that you can have fame and all of that. No, these are just indicators that you have been doing enough of the right activity with the right people in order to achieve the 10x level success and the 10x reality that it is that you desire. Okay? Now, if any of my teen parents are on this live, just know that they are in the room safe and sound. Okay? All right. Just came down here to do my live. That was a sidebar. Now, the other point he goes on to make is people will offer admiration and then advice. He says, so be careful of the people who suggest you've done enough or who advise you to take rest or vacation. He says, because now is not the time. We want to go on vacation, but we don't have anything. We have not reached any goals. Y'all just want to go party. Y'all, and what are we partying for? Some of y'all go out every weekend partying and celebrating, but you don't even have $100 in your bank account. Like, what is it that you're out celebrating? What goals have you accomplished? What are you doing? Like, why are you out spending that much money? You know, and if you're going to nice places, by the time you pay for parking, by the time you pay for the entry, you know, if you are someone who partakes in alcohol, now you got an alcohol bill. Let's see, what else? If you grab some food, oh, and fellas, if you buy something for a lady while you're there, like, this bill begins to add up. And if you do this Friday, Saturday, and yeah, some of y'all be getting it on Sunday too. So even if you do this 2 to 3 times a week, you're talking about hundreds of dollars that you just spent on nothing. And if you get drunk, you don't even remember what happened. And then you wonder why your life is in shambles. Where are your priorities? What are you doing with your money? Are you investing it, or are you splurging and spending it on senseless things that isn't even allowing you to get to where you want to be? And maybe your thing isn't going out, but you're mismanaging your money somewhere, right? Maybe you're eating out all the time. Like, why are you going out to eat all the time and you know that you need to stay at home and cook because you don't have any money? Like, how can you want to be financially wealthy and financially sound and have financial freedom, but you're not managing your money properly? Like, it's not going to happen. Like, and even if you did get money, it won't happen for you because you're just going to spend it all. It's going to be like a penny with a hole in it, right? It's going to be like you put your money in a bag that has a hole in it. It's going to be worthless. It's going to end up flying away. Your money is going to have wings and just fly. And you're going to be like, money, come back. And I'm like, no, right? So these are the things that we have to begin to think about when we're saying that we're going to be committed to a 10x life, when we are going to be committed to 10x actions. This means our mindset has to change. The way that we are executing things has to absolutely change. So he says, stay committed even after achieving success. Along the way, keep taking action. You know what, before we even go there, I want to back up real quick, because my father always says something. He's like, when I was in corporate America and I was traveling the world and I was doing all of these things, like nobody, and I was working all of these hours, nobody ever told me to slow down. He was like, but once I started working in the ministry, you know, people are like, you need to slow down, like you need to go take a vacation. And he's like, but why? When I want to set a fire, in so many words, right? When I want to burn the place down with allowing people to see God and see the ministry and work that God is doing, why are you all now telling me to slow down when before y'all didn't say anything, but now I'm doing this work and I'm setting these types of goals, then you want me to slow down? Here's the thing, is that mediocre people will always want you to slow down because they can't understand your mentality. They can't understand your desire. Yes, eating out, Katrina, is a big one. They can't understand your desire to want to be great. You know, I was even talking to the teens. I'm in Maryland right now. And we're here for a prevention program. We're starting a prevention program, and we're here for a national convention. And so I was talking to them just about, you know, what are your expectations? And now I told them to set expectations before they came, and some of them didn't. And so they're here at this great opportunity where they're even going to be able to speak to legislators, but they have no expectation for what it is that they want. We have to set expectations, and then we have to want to be excellent, because we can get in front of opportunities that can absolutely change our lives. But if we don't know what we want and we're not intentional about doing it, then we will completely miss the blessing, even though the opportunity is sitting right in front of our face. Not only is it sitting right in front of the face, but you are partaking in the opportunity that could change your life. Okay? So we have to make sure that not only do we not allow mediocre people to affect us, but we have to make sure that we are not the mediocre people. We have to make sure that we aren't our own poison. Okay? So stay committed. Next point. Stay committed. That was my little sidebar. Even after achieving success along the way, keep taking action to exceed your goal. Keep adding wood to the fire so that no one or nothing can put your success out. Like, you have to get so focused that you don't even allow you to stop your success. Like, you have to just keep going. Like, any negative thoughts, any negative doubt, anything negative that comes up in your life, you have to be able to shut that down. So we can focus a lot on the other people and what they'll tell us and how those people will try and come in and get us off track and distracted. But many times the biggest enemy that we face is us. The biggest enemy is the inner me, is the one who's inside of me trying to talk me out of everything, trying to tell me that I'm not worth it, trying to tell me that I can't do it, trying to tell me that I'm not going to get the support, trying to tell me that my ideas are stupid, trying to tell me all of these different things. And we can't allow that to happen. We can't allow our self-talk to talk us right out of what God has for us. So I'm mixing in my own personal thoughts tonight, like that may not even be burn the house down, but it's going to help you to get to burn the house down, mixed in with burning the house down. Hopefully that made sense. All right. So success blesses those who are committed to giving it the most attention. Like, you can't be right there at where you're supposed to be, but then not give it attention. Because just like I was saying, I have some people who are here with me, but they don't even understand why they're here and what the impact that they could have if they take the information and implement it. And some of us are in that same position, that you are in places in your life right now that will absolutely not only change your life, but could change the world, but you are not taking advantage of what it is that you have. It could be something in your ministry. It could be something on your job. It could be something in the community. It could be something in your business. It could be something in a relationship, in a friendship. And guess what? You are absolutely missing out on everything only because of you. not because of anything or anyone else. And this is why you have to get committed to success. This is why you have to get it to 10x level goals. Because if you don't, then you are going to miss out. And the other people who really need what it is that you have to offer are going to miss out. And you are going to miss your calling because you are going to be walking in the wrong direction. However, you are standing right there in the midst of the opportunity. So the next point that Grant makes is no matter how green it gets on your side, right? Because it's just like water in your grass, right? He says, no matter how green it gets on your side, no matter how beautiful the flowers, you must continue to tend to it. Like you have not reached this high level. Remember, as long as you have breath in your body, you should be working towards your goals. You should be working towards your purpose. And so that means you always need to cut your grass. You need to water your grass. You need to trim. You need to prune. You need to do whatever you need to do to keep that yard looking nice and to keep those flowers growing, okay? So whatever your goals are, stop feeling like, hey, you know what? I don't need to put that effort in anymore. And for an example, in my business, Total Life Changes, we are having a campaign right now that just says back to basics. Like some people, we can get so far away from doing some of the basic things that we completely miss the mark of what you are supposed to really be doing. So there are some simple things in your life that maybe you need to get back to. Maybe you need to get back to a prayer life. Maybe you need to get back to reading your scripture. Maybe you need to get back to calling your parent every day. Maybe you need to get back to having a better relationship with your siblings. Maybe you need to get back to telling your loved one that you love them every day. Maybe you need to get back to dating your spouse. Maybe you need to get back to spending quality times with your children because you've noticed that your life has taken a turn for the worse. And there's some basics maybe that you need to get back to. So no matter how good your life seems, no matter how good your life gets, there are some things that you need to do that are the basic things like cut the grass, water the grass, prune and cut, right? These are things that you need to do to ensure that your success continues to happen in every area of your life. There is no retreating for those who want to create and keep success. Some of us just want to create it just to say that we did it, but you have no real reward behind it. I think about so many people on social media, like we just want to become social media famous, and we'll come out here and we'll do some crazy stuff, and that has nothing to do with anything really, and there's no reward behind it, except for people might share your video and you might get a few laughs. But especially these chicks who get out here and they start twerking and they do all types of things to objectify their bodies. One day somebody's gonna see that, and it's not gonna be so cool, and that somebody is gonna be them, and they're gonna be like, what in the world was I thinking? Like, why did I present myself in this manner? Like, we set silly goals to achieve silly things, and instead of setting goals that fall in line with our purpose and that fall in line with what God wants us to do. Okay, so we just want to create success, but we don't want to maintain it because that means we would actually have to put in some work. Right? We just want it to happen, and then we want that to take off, and that's going to make us millions. So the only thing that we want to do is something one time, and then, hey, this is going to be the one thing that I do forever. No, it doesn't work like that. Like, you have to continue to add wood to the fire if you want to see success, and it's got to be meaningful, and it's got to be purposeful. Otherwise, you're just doing foolishness. Like, you're just putting actions out here and you're getting attention, but it's the wrong type of attention. Okay? So the next thing is just going back to the point that it is a myth. So I kind of talked about this earlier. I just didn't call it a myth. All right? A myth to kick back after success and stop making efforts that brought initial fulfillment. So if you just feel like, okay, now I don't need to do any of this stuff anymore, just like I just said and gave you all some examples, he's saying that you're not going to be able to maintain your success. If you want to maintain your success, then you have to continue to add wood to the fire. You have to continue in those things that got you to the level of success, but not only that, turn it up. Turn it up. Turn up your actions. The 10X rule is about massive action. So whatever it is that got you to that point, if you want to maintain it, turn it up 10X so that you can have a 10X reality. And then one day when you do decide, hey, you know what, I'm not going to go as hard in these areas, you have something to sustain you because you built it so big that it has taken a life of its own. So the next point is always keep the 4 degrees of action in mind. And those 4 degrees of action, I wonder if y'all know them by now. The 4 degrees of action. Number 1, what is it? Y'all know? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Do nothing. Number 2, retreat. Number 3, average actions that will going to lead you to average results that will diminish. And then number 4, massive action. And the 10X rule means that you are going to create success in quantities great enough that you are constantly in control. We are not allowing things to happen to us. We are allowing things we are making things happen for us when we get to the 10X rule. Okay, when it comes down to the 10X rule, we are making things happen for us. All right, so the next thing, and an injury. Wilbur, what's the injury? I don't know what that is. Okay. Next point. The wannabes and the one who get close to success stop adding wood and they back off, okay? So the people who only kind of want success are exploited in this area. Like at this point, when you stop, we know that you are just a wannabe because you stop. Like I see it in business all the time. I see business wannabes. Like they come in, they talk a really good game about how successful they want to be, and then it's like, okay, you took one step, okay, great, you took step number 2, but then when it comes to step number 3, they go into the witness protection program. You don't hear from them anymore. They're not doing what it takes anymore to be successful in the business. Like I see wannabes all the time. Oh, doing silly things for the vine. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. For the vine. Do it for the vine. Is the vine even out anymore? Or is that gone because of Snapchat and other social media outlets? That was a serious question. I really don't know. Okay, but what was the other one? The wannabes and the ones who get close. Okay, so now massive action is designed to move you past your peers and off the treadmill. See, as we've talked about, we can be doing action. Okay, I thought so. But we can be doing action, right? But it's the wrong action. And so we're not really going anywhere. Like we're just moving. We're just moving, but we're not going anywhere. So the vine is still here. Which one of y'all is right and which one of y'all is wrong, Wilbert and Jessica, about the vine? But on a treadmill, right? You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. If you go outside and you start walking, guess what? You're going to get somewhere. And so what Grant is saying is that when you take massive action in life, it's going to get you off of the life treadmill. Like you're going to stop just moving in action and actually taking action. And so that is the major difference, okay? That is the major difference, and that's what you want. Like too many of us are in the hamster wheel, right? And we're just going and we're going and we're working and we're working and we're working, but we're not getting anywhere, right? We're just going, looking silly. People are looking at you, laughing like, oh, look at that little hamster. It's so cute, right? We see them moving. I don't want to be the hamster. I don't want to be the one that people just come get me and then I'm like, doop, 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 right? Not at all. I want to be the person who is going somewhere. Like people have to come out and be like in amazement because my fire has been built so big because I keep putting wood in the fire. Okay, so the next thing, y'all so silly now. Y'all arguing over who's right and wrong about the vine. Okay, let's move on to the next point though. All right, so there is no such thing as too much, like too much attention in business. There's no such thing as being able to do too much. Oh, you have a hamster, so you know exactly about what I mean. Do you have a hamster wheel? About how the hamster goes in there and he's just in the wheel and he's going and he's going and it's going and it's cute, but he ain't going nowhere. I don't want to be cute and not going anywhere. But there's no such thing as the claims of just doing too much. And he says that mediocre people make those types of claims to justify their own decisions to be happy with status quo. Mediocre people make the claims of doing too much to be able to satisfy their fulfillment with being status quo. So if you're like, that takes too much. I can't do that. What, you want me to call somebody? Oh, nah. Like, you want me to do what? You want me to go to the store and buy something for you? Oh, no, you're asking for too much. Guess what? You are part of the status quo. If you aren't willing, I don't know why this keeps doing that. My phone is like bouncing up and down. I don't like that. Hold on. Okay, but if that's you, that means that you are part of the status quo because you were just trying to justify why you're not willing to do a certain thing to be able to achieve greater results, because you're like, you know what, my miserable life is fine just where it is, and I don't want to do anything about it to change it. Why don't one of y'all go to vine.com and post the link and see if it's really there? Okay, so now moving on to the next thing. Commit to new actions. The more creative you'll become, your imagination is going to open up and new possibilities will begin to just pour out, okay? So not only is what's the best word for me to word this? I guess he says, not necessarily creativity is so great, but the ability to take massive action is that is prompted, okay? So he's saying your idea may not even be all of that great, but the fact that you are willing to get up and do something now that you are inspired, that is what is like the beautiful thing behind it. By taking new opportunities, then your mind is opened up. This is why, in my business, I'm always telling people, like, you got to get to these events. This is why you guys see me traveling to different places, because I understand that when I travel somewhere, that it's going to open up my mind, that it's going to open up my imagination, and it's going to push me to a whole nother level of activity. It's going to help me to implement massive action, because once your mind has been stretched, it can't go back to where it was. And the problem is, some of us we're stretching our mind and then we're doing nothing with it. And that's why we fight these internal battles, because we know that there is something greater for us. And we know that we have what it takes to make it happen, but we just aren't doing it. And so that's why we have these battles within ourselves, because our minds have been stretched and you can't go back to where you once were. Now you're staying in this uncomfortable place. However, you're not uncomfortable enough to take action, and we have to get extremely uncomfortable to take action. See, this is one of those times where you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired of where you are. Okay? All right, and y'all still talking about Vine. I need y'all to stop talking about Vine. Now you guys are being the distraction. All right, so the next point that we're gonna make is being overexposed, right? So this guy was saying, Grant, that you're just doing too much in your business. Like you're going to run into the problem being overexposed. So mind you, we're talking about putting more wood in the fire, make it burn so that everybody can come and see and witness what it is that you're doing, right? So what he is saying is that there is no such thing as overexposure, okay? And when you are focused and what you're doing is actually going towards your goals, right? So he was like, when you're overexposed and you're doing this in the right way, that you can't lose value. And what are you supposed to do? Go back down and hide because everybody knows that you're being successful? Or are you going to go back and hide in fear because you're being successful? He says, think about Coca-Cola, right? He says, if Coca-Cola was overexposed, then pretty much everybody in the entire world would not know about their brand, right? and it would be a bad thing for them. And then everybody, like all of the stores, the restaurants would not carry their product. Like, it is a very good thing that everybody and their mama knows who Coca-Cola is. We can talk about the McDonald's of the world, right? I don't care if you don't like their food. The fact of the matter is, what they have been able to accomplish over the years has been absolutely phenomenal. And they're one of the things, or one of the operations that people can look at and be like, you know what? They kept adding wood to the fire. Like, they burn. Like, everybody knows what them golden arches are, from young to old. Everybody knows the golden arches. Apple, Walgreens, Google. How many of you all said go Google it today? Like, I know that's part of my common verbiage. Like, it's a whole thing. Just go Google it. Check Google. Google this. Look up that. Because they've created such a name for themselves. Like, they didn't quit. They didn't stop. I remember, you know, when I was in school, having the big old body computers and the black screens, and we didn't have the internet. Like, we played Oregon Trail, right? Those were the games that we played on the internet. So now, being able to just hop on, or on the computer, right? So now being able to hop on the computer and type in something, and then it searches a complete big old database in Google, is absolutely amazing. Like, who would have thought that Google would be in existence, coming from a place where, one, we didn't have any technology at all. We didn't even have the internet, right? And then we have the internet, and now Google is here. Like, can you imagine the person who had the idea of Google, and they were like, you know what, we're going to create this, and people are going to be able to type it in, and then we're going to have this whole database where anything that's on the internet is going to pop up here, and that's how we're going to make money. People were probably looking at them like they were stuck on stupid. Like, man, you don't even know what you're talking about. But the fact of the matter is that now everybody knows what we're talking about when we say Google. Okay? So you have to get out there, whatever your idea is, whatever it is that you desire for people to know, and whatever it is you want to be successful at, you have to keep adding wood to the fire until people want to come out and see what it is that you're talking about. And initially, people aren't going to want to see your baby fire. They're going to be like, what is that little split? Yeah, I don't even know what that meant. But that's what people are going to be saying about your stuff. That little thing. What are they talking about? That little idea they have, girl, they talking crazy, right? Until you build that fire so big that they have no choice but to come out there and watch it burn, and watch it get so big, and come out there in amazement and say, my goodness, they were right. They can actually create a plane that flies in the air. They created Google. Right? They created a system of hamburgers. Like, I can even think for McDonald's, like the fact that they're like, we're going to have a restaurant on every corner, and there's going to be golden arches, and like, these ideas, people laughed at them. They said it wasn't possible, but they kept going. You have to keep going, no matter what your goal is, no matter what people say about it, no matter how crazy it may seem. You have to know that it's possible. If we can get to space, we can do some other things right here on Earth. And you can do it. And it could be you, but you can't give up. And you have to build it. And you have to keep adding wood to the fire so that burn it down, so that your competitors have no space, right? Once they realize that you are the force to be reckoned with, there's nothing that can be done. Hey, what's going on, Alfonso? I am, and all while painting. Okay, so the next thing, remember, if you don't know me, or let me even back it up further there, right? So the problem isn't overexposure. The problem is obscurity, okay? Most people don't have the problem of overexposure, but they have the problem of obscurity. So remember, if you don't know, if people don't know you, if people don't know about you, then it doesn't matter how good your product is, or it doesn't matter how low your price is, or it doesn't matter what value you can add in their life if they don't even know who you are. So you have to put yourself out there. You have to overexpose. You have to keep adding wood to the fire, and you have to keep naysayers and distractions out of your way, because they are not going to help you to get to your goals, period. So get out here and keep adding wood to the fire until your goals take a life of its own, till your success takes a life of its own. All right? Let me get here to the last couple points, and then I'm going to hop off here and talk to y'all later. But it says, build the fire. Well, Grant says in the book, build the fire so big and so hot that you not only burn the house down, but incinerate everything in your path. Don't leave room for anything to survive, because you are the force to be reckoned with. You dominate your sector. You dominate your goals. You are a force to be reckoned with. People will take admiration for your ability to take action, but you have to take action. See, we want accolades, and we want people to be like, oh, good job, Millie Mill. You did good, but you ain't really done anything. Do something that makes people truly have your admiration for the massive action that you're taking. Like, earn the right for people to come and watch you. That's what you have to do. We just want simple stuff. Like, I think social media has messed us up in that area, where we just feel like we're going to put like out one video, and then the next day we're going to go viral, and that's going to change our lives. Now, granted, that may have happened for some, but you know what? There's so many that they start a Facebook page, or they put out a video, or they start a group, and it hasn't gone anywhere. They have no traction. They have no interaction. Nobody has bought anything. And that's because it doesn't work that way, because you still have to put work into this thing. Like, you have to stop thinking that everything is just going to come to you just because. No, you have to put that work in. You have to put the work in. All right. And that is when people will start to admire you for what you are doing. Like, you can't expect people to respect you just because you said you had an idea. No, you have to get out here and show them that you deserve their respect because of what you have put in to achieving your goals, to what you have put in to succeeding. Continue to put wood in the fire. Make it so big that it causes people to come and watch you, that it causes your competitors to come and sit at your feet and learn from you. Okay? So now, the next and last point. Competition will get out of your way when you realize you are a force to be reckoned with. Competition will get out of your way when you realize that you are a force to be reckoned with. So guys, what are you doing to achieve your goals? What are you doing to make sure that your goals are aligned with your purpose? Have you set 10x rules or 10x goals for the things that you want to achieve in your life? Are you focused on your success? Okay? And keep me in prayers, guys. My health is going through something. Keep pushing, Camille. Absolutely. And David, this even goes for your health. So what are you doing to make sure that your health gets better? Like, we have to look at what we're eating. Take an even closer look. What type of things do you need to be eating for your blood type, right? What are you eating? Too much sugar? Even the smallest amount sometimes, or maybe it's too much salt. Like, guys, we have to set goals for ourselves in every area of our lives and be at 10x living, so that we can say that in our 30s and in our 40s and in our 60s and even beyond that, there are people who have good health, but it's because of the choices that they've made. It's because of the planning that they have made, guys. So yes, I'm definitely going to keep you in prayer, but I want you to think about the decisions that you are making in your life, or that you have made, that you need to change so that you can have a better life, that you can have the highest quality of life ever. All right. And you too, Jessica, y'all both been sick. What have y'all been doing? What are you putting in your bodies? Do you have minerals and vitamins in your bodies? Have you been detoxing your bodies? What types of food are you eating? Because we're setting 10x goals in every area of our life. Okay? We are doing this in every area of our life. Y'all are so unfocused tonight and talking about anything and everything, but I want you all to know that this is just examples of how we allow distractions to get in our way. Okay? So don't allow distractions to stop you all, but get focused. Get focused on your goals in every area. That's my time tonight. I am going to go hang out with my teenagers. So I'm Camille Aiko, and I hope that you're living the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. Good night.